Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, everybody, to It's Always Now. I'm your host, Vinny Freeman, and today I'm going to be interviewed by our behind the scenes engineer and producer and many other things that help get the show done, Zach Depot.
Sure. Well, I guess to start it off.
Yeah,
So what started to pique your interest in music creation?
okay, so if I had to bring it back to I'm glad you asked. So I have this memory of me and my buddy Brian. We used to fucking listen to like old Eminem CDs and shit, and we would write out the raps, and then we would like take turns like spitting like each other's verses. He would do one verse, I would do another verse and shit. I wonder if he remembers doing that, but like we used to do that shit to like all the Eminem CDs till we remembered them. And then there's this kid Casey Schoenfelder in my town, and he was like. It's honestly the town drunk. Love you, Casey. I hope you're doing well because I'm pretty sure he's sober now. But he would rap, and the only way to get him to not rap is to rap back. And that's when I learned. I was like, all right, I'm all right at this. And then I started fucking with it. I'm like, all right, I kind of like this. I'm like, but it was everybody always kind of took it like it was corny. So at least that's how I felt. Like everybody thought, I felt like people looked at anybody trying to make music was like just silly. So my mom bought me a microphone when I was probably like 13 that I built like a little studio in my room, and I recorded a few songs that were terrible, and I showed like probably like four people. But I'm getting a little off track. So there's Casey rapping. I started thinking I was pretty good, so I started writing rhymes. And I actually I remember the first rap I ever wrote. I could fucking spit it at any time. And I would write raps that I could deliver as freestyles at parties, so it sounded like I was like thinking of them on the spot. That was like my thing. That's what I would do. I'd be like, and I'd fucking spit some shit, and I'd be like, oh, and I got good at like even pretending like to make it look like I was coming off the top, but I wasn't. And recorded a few songs. Then I ended up getting set up by an artist named Junior Guns because we rap battled. Me and him, like, it was, I was probably like 17 at this point in time, and it was a house party, and everybody was rapping, and I was spitting, and there was just like a bunch of people from the hood, and they were like, oh, this is our dude. He was mad nice. And then Junior Guns, who was like an established rapper, he was probably where like I'm at now. He was at like the highlight of his career because he just robbed mad people, so it fucked up his whole career. But anyway, so he was there, he rapped. I thought I was way nicer than him. So at that point in time, I'm like, I'm the sickest. He ended up fucking setting me up and robbing me because he's like, yo, he was at another mutual friend's a few weeks later. I was like, yo, you remember me from the party, blah, blah, blah. We were rapping. He's like, yeah, dude, you're nice. He's like, you want to get in the studio? He's like, most studios charge you about $50 an hour. He's like, I'll charge you $20 a song. And me being like the cocky asshole I pulled out like $500. I'm like, I'll record a double album right now. And a day before we were supposed to get in the studio together, he hits me up and he's like, yo, can you give me some bud? I was like, yeah, sure. He fucking pulls up to my mom's house. He's like, yo, can I wait real quick? I was like, yeah, sure. Not thinking anything of it, which rookie mistake for, anyone who's getting their not buddy some weed. He took the weed and just drove away. And by the way, I remember he had like some chicks in the car, and I was like, dude, that's not baller. You know what would have been baller if he like pulled the $200 out and gave the fucking little teenager kid he fucking robbed. But we're in a weird time where people think being like ignorant and fucking completely ghetto is like gangster, and that's not gangster. Like you could do gangster shit if it's like necessary, but that I don't know. That to me, that's not gangster. That's fucking petty shit. And like honestly, the kid's from money, so and he pulled up to my broke ass house, fucking ran down in fucking Bridgeport. Anyways, I digress from there. So after that, I started taking rap seriously. I ended up recording with mine and his mutual friend Chuck Gunnup, Sizzle. He's on the Fuck Vinny project. Sizzle's always been there for me. He's had his ups and downs in the music game, but there would not be a Vinny Freeman without Sizzle Star. So he recorded my first track, fucking with me, and then we recorded like 3 or 4 more tracks, blah blah blah. Junior Guns actually later ended up stealing one of my hooks that I recorded with Sizzle. I'm actually kind of, I don't know, we need to talk about that Sizzle one day, but I've probably been going off on tangents, going all over. But that's what started my music really is my love for it. Like, I'm such a fucking fan. Like, I just saw, I'm like, fuck it, these are just people too. Like, why can't I fucking do it? So I was like, fuck it, the only way to do it is to do it. And I started rapping, and, well, somebody like me, I've kind of paved my way. Like, nobody's really ever, like, I've had a lot of encouragement, but outside of just, I did it all because I wanted to do it.
So where do you see your career headed?
Right now, it's at such a stagnant point. It's hard to say. Like, it's sad because I'm glad we're doing this podcast because I was honestly contemplating getting rid of the office for a little bit until I just kind of kicked myself in the ass. And it's like I spend money on way stupider shit, and I like this. I love this place. And so, I mean, I'm hoping to dial the podcast in more and get to where I can drop at least one to two solid projects a year. Like, nothing crazy, like 4 to 5 songs at least, 2 to 3 projects a year. That's like my goal. Like, I feel like a lot of artists oversaturate and try to constantly compete. And I'll never stop making music because I love it, but it's just, I've seen how it goes, and like I want to dial it in. I want to just put out really good content, and it's hard, dude, because my mind's in so many places at once. I just started training, so I'm working on my fucking form and shit. I'm also trying to work on my delivery as a musician and a rapper. I also want to learn music theory in general, which I've always tried to dive into, and it's just I think music's a study. It's not something you can ever really fully learn.
It's definitely an art.
So. Where do I see it? Hopefully, being more lucrative, and that's not the only reason I do it. But it'd be really cool if like we start turning out, we get some sponsors for the podcast and shit, and music actually starts. Music's in such a fucking weird state right now, where it's like if you're not a superstar or if you're not really connected in, it's hard to say. I would like to. There's Chris Webby, there's Prof, there's a few other artists I would like to like jump on their tour like I did with Riff Raff, because for a lot of people who don't know, you can fucking almost buy onto any one of your favorite artists' tour too. You a lot of artists will do that for up and coming artists. You hit them up, be like, look, I'll take care of my own fucking things, because that's basically what I did with Riff. Is like, you take care of your own self. They'll give you 10, 15 minutes on stage, and because like a lot of people don't realize, when I first started doing shows in Syracuse, hip hop's they like to use the phrase pay to play, and a lot of people get like discouraged by that and get an ego. They're like, oh, I should be getting paid to play. And the only times I've been ever paid to play is when I've sold a grand amount of tickets. Like, people want to get paid for their performance, but you also need to realize these venues need to stay open. They have to pay their bills, so you need to bring a crowd. So like my best performance that I've ever got paid for, I did a 10-minute set that I got paid $110 for, and that was open up for Chris Webby. But that was because I sold 52 tickets to that show. But I also, what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of shows do that. They'll give you X amount of tickets to perform. It's like you have to sell these. So if you don't sell them, you can't perform. So a lot of times I said, fuck it. And I bought the tickets myself and just gave my friends tickets. And what's funny is I have about 4 or 5 friends who have bought tickets that have never gone to a show. Actually, I lie, because now Brandon and Dirt have both gone to a show. Because they both have bought tickets to every single show I've ever done, and only have gone to one of them each. But, yeah, I would like to see it getting bigger. I would like to see, there's a few other artists I want to work with over the next year, next few years. Like I said, Prof, Chris Webby, top 5 artists I want to work with is like Kevin Gates. I really want to work with Kevin Gates, but that is out of my current bracket. And it's, I would like an artist to want to work with me. Like, that's very rare outside of local artists. Like, there's a few artists that want to fucking work with me, but I would like a bigger artist to see what I'm doing. I would like to finish the Vinnie Madison video in the next 4 or 5 years, if that's going to be possible, if I can ever get into Canada. I'm honestly debating on just phoning in those shots and not using the actual fucking mansion, and just, it honestly might be more logical just to rebuild some of those shots and recreate the scenes fake wise because I already did. And I feel fucked up because I told a lot of people about how I was gonna get the actual mansion because it was super cool when they were like, yeah, fuck yeah, you can use the mansion. I was like, sick. I started telling people, and I bit my tongue on this, and I'm no longer telling people what I'm doing before it's done. Once it's done, I'll let the people know because I've learned that like the shit even with like starting off with Riff Raff, I didn't tell anybody until I knew it was for certain.
Exactly.
And like there's just negative like you don't know who's fucking out there hating on you low key like and they might not even realize they're doing it, but some people don't want your success. So when you go and tell them your fucking things you're doing, they low key deep down are like yeah, and that fucks up. I think that's fucks up a lot of shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
But growing, I'd like to see you on the books for It's Always Now. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. That would be one really cool thing to do. I would like to be everybody eating off this. That'd be nice. A bigger office, you know, where we can. I always wanted It's Always Now to be like a legit talk show. Like that would be crazy if we could like fucking, you know, we're in there with we got a whole staff and shit like that. You know, catering table, and we're getting in fucking real big guests. So, hopefully that answered the question.
And how is your lifestyle formed, or how has this lifestyle formed you as a person and as an artist?
What lifestyle do you mean exactly? Like,
Yeah, content, music creation, or music industry.
there's I wish there was a way you could. Can you pan to this right here? This fucking. By any chance, John, maybe just grab one of these cameras and just pan over to fucking the Mod Son. Yeah, just fucking. So this dude right here, Mod Son. He has his last album was called. And that's all you had to do. I just wanted. His last album was called "Internet Killed the Rockstar," which I love. I think it was a play on video killed the radio star. Internet killed the rock star. I don't like the fucking current content. Like, it's like a lot of people ask me why I don't do the Twitch bullshit. Like, why am I not in the Twitch? Like, I feel like a little bit of a sellout for doing the Pokemon card openings. Like, I legitimately like Pokemon cards, so fuck everybody who thinks I did that. Like, I did videotape it as like a fucking content grab, but I did it because I also fucking loved Pokemon cards. So, but outside that, like, I don't like how we have to fucking try so hard. Like, the artists I love, like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, they don't do all the bullshit. They don't have to fucking create a TikTok. It's not about the dance. It's, you know, it's sickening, dude. It's like honestly working a lot of us to the grave, and I think it's this. I always think I would be a lot more successful in a different day and age. Like I think my drive. If I had like my drive 10 years ago would take you so much further. I feel like a lot of people have my drive, so like there's so many people nowadays and there's so much, so you need to have 10 times the drive than anybody to actually get to where you want to be in life. And then it's just so hard doing all of that and trying to just maintain like health, relationships, shit like that. Like, you know, I'm literally off no sleep coming from a date with my girlfriend because I have to take a day out of the week to make sure I'm spending time with my girlfriend, because if not, I'll find myself fucking here every week or in the studio or fucking somewhere writing. And what's crazy is like, even at times doing that, shit doesn't get done. One thing I am happy is I'm at a point in life where it's like, we can come here, we can bang these out. And outside of like 2 to 3 things I want to dial in more, we are 85% at like what I would like to call a perfect fucking podcast, perfectly running, like really nice thing. And music I have down to where if I wanted to, I can make a song in a week without a problem, from recording, writing, mixing, and mastering and dumping out. Like, I don't like to use that word, dumping out, and getting it out to the people. I can do that in a week, and that does feel good. I don't like doing that, but also it's weird because like my favorite songs that I've ever recorded came out the fastest. They didn't take as much work, and I enjoyed those the most. So.
Sounds like you kind of don't edit as much either.
Yeah, well, you know, and they don't need it either, and so it feels good. It feels right, you know. And then there's songs like I just posted Cordy Freeman. Like a lot of people don't know. Like, I love that song. One of the best songs that I've ever been a part of. And like I like to take 90% of credit for building that song because I put all the pieces together. There's a lot of people behind that song, but I like to believe I am the main producer of that song. and that's why it's on my project. But either way, outside of that, that song caused so much stress and heartache and up and down for me and all the artists on there, and it was just like it was funny. Austin brought up the other day because I totally forgot that we like recorded that originally with AJ, and then him, AJ, and Mike, my other old producer, just did not get along at all. So then we ended up having to bring Corey over because Corey just came over and riffed on the guitar. He didn't care about anything else. So that ended up being like a big. And then I wanted the other artist, AK Castro, who has like a really good. He's really good at using Melodyne and auto tune. I wanted him to edit that shit, but it was, and that turned into a big hassle. It's one of the reasons I've tried it because we've talked about making Cordy Fretman too. I've tried to actually do that.
So is there any new music going to be dropped soon?
I just dropped Quiet on the Set, featuring a local, well, upstate artist, Beach Boy Nino. He's pretty big. I have a video for that. I'm debating on dropping it or not. It was real low budget. We kind of just threw it together quick because actually, no, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to tell the story. When we were in. Did you come to me with Rochester? No, Mariah came with me to Rochester. I did. I performed a riff raff at the one nightclub out in Rochester. And so after my set, I do my set. There was this dude in the front row just turning up. He was going the hardest. I was like, all right, cool. I get off the set. That dude comes up to me. He's like, yo, you know who Young Lean is? I was like, I do. I'm actually a fan. He's like, what song you like? I say the song. Me and him sing the song together. He's like, dude, I am Young Lean. He's like, I want to fucking do a song with you. He's like, I'm gonna put that shit on my SoundCloud. I haven't posted on my SoundCloud in years. This shit's gonna blow up. I'm fucking ecstatic. I'm on my after show high. You could fucking, the high getting off stage is next level. So you could fucking stab me a few times, and I probably would still be like, dude, it was a great fucking night, and not even realize till I bled out. But anyway, so I go out to the car, fucking roll up, sit, really take in what the fuck just happened, and I just out of being the sus person I am, I start scrolling through my phone, and the dude who was saying he was Young Lean was not fucking Young Lean. So dude live action catfished me. I did call him out for it. That ended up. So when I thought he was Young Lean for the 20 minutes, I thought this gentleman was Young Lean. I hit up one of my other producers. I was like, yo, I'm with Young Lean right now. I need you to send me beats. He sent me a bunch of beats. Then I realized I wasn't with Young Lean. I was like, all right, I got to use these beats. Further back that story, that same club, first night I ever met Riff Raff in person when we shot, or no, that's a lie. It's the third time I met Riff in person. After we shot our video, he had a performance at that same nightclub that we then later performed at together. And I met this artist, Beach Boy Nino, that night. And we were fucking chilling. I remember actually, I got to have Beach on here one of these times because I would like for him to tell the story from his perspective too. Because I remember I'm standing in VIP. I got a blunt in my mouth. I'm standing on the couch. None of that's allowed, obviously. And I was like, oh yeah, I fucking made it. And homie steps over the couch, like next to me, sits down. And then fucking security starts yelling at him. It's like, yo, you can't stand on the couch. You can't step on the couch like that. Mind you, I'm standing on the couch at this moment. And the dude, Beach, like, looks at me. He looks at him. I'm looking at the security too. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, nah, fuck you. He tells security to fuck off. He's like, we're the artists. Get the fuck out of here. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, this dude's fucking the real deal Holyfield. Like, this motherfucker don't play. We fucking chilled, kicked it that day. Phil, who's Riff's current tour manager, and John knows Phil. Phil's a fucking man. Miracle Flow Phil. $100 filler. He was always telling me, he's like, yeah, you got to link with Beach. So I ended up, Beach was at the club both nights. Beach was at the club that night, Young Lean. I ran into fake Young Lean. I was like, yo, Beach, let's make some shit happen. And we made it happen. We got this song done and made this video. And I don't know, maybe I'll drop the video. I'll do a little podcast leak of the video or something, see how that does. And then I was also thinking, like, so J. Cole just dropped a video like last year of a song that he made like 6 years prior to that. And I was like, what if I just do that? Like, what if I wait till like 5-6 years and then just drop it? Because I fucking can. So, I don't know. I've been thinking about shit like that, but also it's like, I mean, you know our fan base and our view base. So, It's hard for me. It gets hard, but I know I'm not gonna stop until I'm dead, honestly, because that's the only way I feel like I don't fail. I feel like I fail if I gave up because I haven't made it to where I want to be with any of this.
Yeah.
You know, I do like to consider myself relatively successful with it, but not where I even close to where I
Is
plan to
that
be.
you keep and maintain your inspiration to continue this?
Yeah, yeah. The fact that I've like it does like I'm nowhere where I fucking want to be, and I know the growth that is possible, and I see all the people who do it. Like a lot of people don't believe that they can do it, and that's where they fuck up. Is because that's really all you need. Like every person who made it just believed they fucking could. Like I was I used to get in a lot of fights when I was a kid, and I think it's like, and I don't know if it's even delusional in a sense to where it's like I used to get in fights when I was a kid, and I've lost very few, and there was very few I went in with the mentality I was gonna lose it. And that's kind of the fucking mentality I go in with everything. Like, I know a lot of my homies who get scared before performances, and it's like, dude, we're fucking all scared. Like, everybody's fucking scared. Like, I get scared before doing these. Like, I almost had a panic attack on the way here, but I've always like thought to myself, like, do I think the people I look up to that have made it as far as they did got scared? I bet you they did. But the only difference between them and the people who didn't do it is they just didn't let that fucking fear. Like who cares if in Austin actually, Big Sexy used to tell me the shit. He's like, dude, you do bad. Who's like, there's gonna be other shows, right?
Yeah.
He's like, is this the last show you're ever gonna do? This bad show? Like probably not.
Kind of drive you a little bit.
Oh, 100%. Because I'm super happy. Like I think of like artists like Lil Pump who got his hit song at 17. Yes, I would love to have had my hit song at 17, but the gradual, like I would hate to peak. Peaking is my biggest fear because I feel like I look at Bitcoin like my life. Like, all right, we're starting down here, and here we're going on tour and shit, and then it's like, oh, we're back in here. We're back just doing normal everyday shit, working a 9 to 5, and then it's like, oh, we got the podcast studio, and so it's there's a lot of ups and downs, and that's the one thing I would say is the biggest deter of all of it is that like it's so exciting when we achieve something when we move into here, but then it also gets mundane when it becomes the regular. So it causes a lot of ups and downs, and puts me in a little slump. But I usually find my way out of it.
Yeah. It's kind of a lot of exposure you gotta kind of do figure out.
And people like you help me. Obviously you see I see the passion that you even give towards this. So I like to give the same.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Who are some artists you want to work with? I know we talked about that a little bit. And what are some places you want to travel to perform in the near future?
I got a list. I'm glad that you said that. I have a little list that I made, Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
But let me find this real quick because
I thought I was still on you, to be completely honest with you. So that was me.
I do. I have a list. I know I do. I'm just trying to figure out. So, people, by the way, write your goals down. It's way easier to achieve them when you write them down. And there's this weird thing with like manifestation, with like see it, say it, write it, see it, say it, write it, and shit like that. But there it is, goals list. So, all right, artists I want to work with: Kevin Gates, Felly, Machine Gun Kelly, Prof, Still Woozy, Russ, Denzel Curry, Tory Lanez, Miguel, Lil Wayne, Joe Rogan, Theo Von, literally all of Dreamville, anybody on Dreamville. Boz, probably number one, obviously J. Cole, Jid, any Earth Gang, anybody from Dreamville, almost anybody from TDE. Not anybody. I'm not that big of a whore. I used to hate J Rock. And if you asked like 5 years ago if you like you do a song with J Rock, I'd be like J Rock's trash. But like I fuck with J Rock hard now, so fuck old Vinny who thinks J Rock was trash. J Rock's mad nice. Max O'Cream, and this one actually Marlon Craft is a real one I can work with too. Marlon Craft, we like. It was funny because there was a point in time where our careers were right here, and the fucking Marlon Craft's like here,
Yeah.
and it's cool seeing where he's at. Places I would want to perform at. I got them written down. You can't see them, but they're there. I want to perform at EST Fest. I want to perform at Red Rocks. I want to perform at the Syracuse Amphitheater, and I want to be on a Rolling Loud lineup or on a Rolling Loud tour in general because they put on some serious shit. Then I got I got dreams in film and television. I want to do a rom-com. I want to do a fucking stoner comedy. I want to do a cartoon. I want to start an It's Always Now skate video. Do a line of skate videos, and then and also an It's Always Now stand-up special. As well as the It's Always Now mixtape series I wanted to do. Which I'm wondering if I want to make the album covers look like the fucking Now. You remember like Now 43, Now fucking thing? Like rip off that with it. Like it's
They
always.
still have them.
I know they do.
It's wild.
They're
to me.
wild.
Wild.
Yeah,
I mean, how much money do you think they made?
all of it.
I-
Bro, I have a Kids Bop. Remember Kids Bop?
They still got those.
Yeah, so I want to make a thing called like where it's like teen hits or whatever what we're gonna call it, but it's like kids just singing like modern day songs like, Percocet, Molly Percocet, 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 Molly Percocet, and shit like that, or got this wet ass pussy. It's just a fucking bunch of kids singing modern songs, but so yeah, those are some of the top artists I want to work with. The top locations I want to perform at, and some of the things I want to do with It's Always Now. Yeah, I really want to do that. I've had dreams of the stand-up special because my goals with that is maybe I wanted to do an hour special, but what I think I might do is like try to get like it'll probably be a 2 hour long. I don't know. I don't want to extend it too much. I wanted a musical act at the end. To do 2 or 3 songs, but I'm also thinking of like the live factor of it outside of just I want to record it as like a special for Netflix or Hulu, but I'm also thinking about the live theatrical version of it, like the people who are sitting in the crowd in the show they're gonna get. So what I wanted to do was like 3 openers with 15 to 20 minutes each, and then like a 30-minute headliner of somebody really fucking big, and then a musical act. But that would also make like a 2 hour special, which, and maybe I would just, because what's also kind of inspiring the musical thing is another stand-up special I saw where they kind of had like a musical act at the end. Dave Chappelle used to do that shit too. A lot of them do, and I just maybe that won't make the film as much. Maybe it'll just be like the end credits and the live band will be playing or whatever and shit. List Special is actually the band. I don't know. I doubt any of them are listening. They're pretty local, but they fucking go hard as the band. I think I would get to perform either that or Andy Frasco in the UN, because Andy Frasco gets fucking turned and he pulls a crowd. I want to do live shows too. Live shows once like we stop doing all this COVID bullshit and I know I can really fucking turn up a venue. I would like to start renting out venues, bringing in a bigger act, and then having a few of my boys and me open up for that act, and then just collect all the finances myself. This way I'm not doing the bullshit ticket sales, I used to, what they would charge, like, an average venue wants at least 10%, and if they're going to sell alcohol, you can use that in negotiation, be like, look, you guys get alcohol sales, so I want door sales. But you also got to make sure, if your fans aren't buying alcohol, then the venue's not going to fucking want you to, if none of your fans drink, then you're also fucking the venue. So, but venues usually want about 10%, and anyone that wants more is kind of asking a little too much. So your venue holds 100 people. You're selling tickets at $20 a ticket. 20 times 100 is what, $2,000. 10% of $2,000 is $200. That's 10 tickets. That's your average set. Like that's how many. Like if you're gonna open up for a fucking any act, they want you to sell at least 10 fucking tickets. And if you can't, I'd rather give the venue $300 to let me rent it for the night and let me control the set, and then that's also a way I don't. There's been a lot of shows where I wanted to put a lot more theatrics into my show, and due to the venue's fucking restrictions, I wasn't able to. Like this projector that we use for here was bought originally because I was going to use for a visual while I performed, because I didn't want to just give. What I like in a show is the whole package. I I used to love going to EDM shows, and like I understand why EDM shows are so popular, because some of us are like perfectionists and we want that perfect recorded sound. So when you hear that and you hear it out these speakers, it's a fucking amazing feeling with the amazing lights, and it's a great fucking time. And a lot of people think it's not. Yes, it's a little. I think it's easier to get dialed in than it is like a live band or any other live performance, because it's a lot of animatronics and it's a lot of just plug and play. Yeah, it's a lot of plug and play. Everything just goes. It's synchronized. It's easy, but it's still fucking sick. So that's where like I wanted to take my shows to where they were. I'm not the greatest rapper in the game. I'm gonna be 100% honest, and I don't want to rap for fucking 2 hours. But I would love to be on stage for 2 hours and do a 2 hour set. So I would like to add more just theatrics and shit like that.
Now, are there any other genres you kind of want to get into or no?
Yeah, we got this saying, "Don't assume my genre."
Yeah.
So don't say that here. No, but no, I'm just kidding. But I would like to work with a full band one day. So I would always I think deliver the style of cadence that I deliver. And I don't think I can ever really get to. I might get a little more singing, but I would like to work with a full band of instruments and really develop a sound like that. Like if you listen to later Mac Miller before he passed, like his music was a lot more live instrument shit with his
I heard
just
a lot. Yeah, I heard a lot more acoustic.
yeah, and that's the flow I deliver anyways. Dude, don't be yawning. This is a good episode.
I just yawned anyway.
I don't fucking with
I
you.
got no sleep last night. You woke me up from my nap. I was napping, dude. Got me too.
There's there's some Syracuse artists I want to work with still out there. There's a couple there's an artist Cage Green. I fuck with him. He makes some beats. He's dope. Ivan the Great, a couple of them, and they're doing big ass shit. They're doing real big shit. I got a song with Ace Black coming out soon that I would like to hear. There's I recorded this verse for my buddy out in Washington. I love the verse. I don't, sometimes I think, like I remember recording the verse and sending them out to him. Yeah, I probably could have did better on the verse. I always think I could do better. Every song I've ever recorded, I feel like I can do better. But I remember loving the verse and was excited to hear the final product. So that was like 2 years ago I recorded that song. So hopefully that'll come out one day because I said some shit. I was like, drop out, class clown, look at where I'm at now. Booking flights, booking shows to a packed crowd. Different people, different places, different backgrounds. Just a man. I don't know. I remember it all, but I fucked with that verse hard, and I wanted to hear it.
So is that how you kind of send your audio to other people to work on?
It's always been different. We can break down like the riff raff shit. I had Vibe recorded for about a year with my verse, the hook, and then the second hook, which I performed a bunch of times too. And then I was like, this song could be longer, but I don't really have anything else. Like I spit what I wanted to spit on it. I'm usually a one verse kind of guy. I don't really like doing many verses because I have to listen to the beat enough to make my first one verse. Some songs I'll do multi verses, but either way, I'm like, this is fucking, it needs more. And I would have had Mac Miller on it. No disrespect to Riff, but if Mac was still alive, I probably would have reached out to him. And I sent it to his management, which a lot of people, you want to work with an artist, let me give you the step-by-step on how you fucking work with artists and stop being scared to pay people for work because that's what you have to do. Nobody's going to do shit for you for free, and I don't know why you would expect them to do because I would never expect that. Anyways, so go to any artist you fuck with, especially if they're lower, like, obviously J. Cole and Kendrick's going to be a little harder to go about this, but you go to their fucking page, 9 out of 10 of them have their email on there. Hit their email their management. It literally will say, message me for features or booking inquiries, and shoot a quote. Fucking don't be scared. Throw that fucking, put the fucking worm on the hook and cast it out there, dude. You'll never know what you get. If they don't bite the first time, cast it again. Cast it twice. Send the same don't send the same email a bunch of times. Send another email saying the same shit. Send it 2-3 times. That doesn't work. Add another $100.
Is that kind of what you do?
I've done that with multiple artists and like different things. Like to get like the interludes on the Vinnie Madison project. There was an artist I worked with, Blake Weber, who's a comedian. I offered him, I think like $200. I sent an email 3 or 4 times. Hey, he didn't bite. Hit him with one with 300. He was like, oh yeah, I'll fucking do it. Or like, all right, I got a little fucking cheat for you guys. If there's an artist you want to work with, and one of the best ways to know if they're willing to work with people is if they're on Cameo, dude. Like if they're on Cameo, they're willing to get bread. They're here to work. They've established their looks as they've established their entity as an actor, an artist, a musician, or whatever. and they want to work for money. That's what fucking, not to be a dick, we're all here to create, but we're also here to fucking survive. So they're on Cameo, then go on their IG, then email them, and ask them fucking what you're working with, how much you want to work with, because a lot of these artists will fucking try to gouge you too for no fucking reason. Like I've paid a lot of money to Riff Raff and his management and shit to establish the partnerships we've had.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of people will shame on that or shit on that. But, like, I don't get why people they want a free handout.
Yeah.
That person established their
Kind of
entity.
building trust too.
That too. It's a business relationship. And, I know a lot of people, I know a lot of my friends who kind of like will shit on Riff because they expected him to like put me on,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he did. He fucking put me in the position to where if people want to listen to my music from meeting me in person, then they'll go on forth and do so, and if not, then that's on me, nobody but me.
You kind of put yourself there for that exposure.
Yeah.
So, like, what are your most memorable experiences on stage when working with various artists?
Okay. So we'll start from the bottom and we'll go up. So I can my first shows, I can see every single I can look into the eyes of every single patron there. Because the 8 people there are all my homies. And, you know what I'm saying? They're all standing there. And then, a few shows, after that, I could see my friends running from across the street from like how Funk and Waffles works. Like the stage is here, and then you can see out the window to the street, and like I could see my friends running across the street while I'm like 3 songs into my 5-song set. So those hurt. But then we got, when we hit tour with Riff. Actually, no. All right. So the Chris Webby show was fucking crazy. I remember it was this happens to me a lot too, where I'm on a give up, where I'm like, man, I don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to do next or how to even keep going with it. Like, what am I fucking going to do? I feel like I've done everything I thought I was going to do, and I don't know what to do next. I'll get a phone call, it's Ian. Ian's like, yo, I was fucking half asleep. He's like, you're opening up for Chris Webby. I'm like, what? Like, didn't even register. He's like, you heard what I said, right? And I'm like, what? He's like, you're opening up for Chris Webby. I was like, fuck yeah, super excited, blah, blah, blah. They kind of fucked us because we were supposed to each have 15-minute sets. I build a 15-minute set. I get my projector. I get a whole new visual set for it. They tell me I can't bring my projector. My set gets cut to 10 minutes, so I have to like chop up my whole set, blah, blah, blah. But the fucking crowd there was amazing. They were A1. My voice was fucked up because I was doing a lot of shows at that point in time, back to back to back to back. So my voice was fucked up. But the fans showed so much love, and it was just such a fucking good show. I got to crowd surf. I got to fucking stage dive. I wish I had that fucking video queued up because that would be sick. I have that. But then on tour with Riff, one of the coolest shows we had, there was a chick who, you know what poi is? It's like when it's like strings with LED lights on them.
Yeah.
So there was a chick poing, and I'm like really good at poing. And I was like, yo, like fucking come here. And I pulled her up on stage, and I got to poi and shit. While I've poied a lot on stage because that's like one thing I'll do when I like to bring my people on with me because again, I don't like sitting there performing for 2 hours. I do a lot of features. B, don't want to fucking rap for 2 hours straight. This shit'll kill my voice. I'm a heavy smoker. So I usually bring some homies with me, that's why I brought Nova with me on tour, so he could also, also to help get his name out there. And then when Riff came here to Syracuse, I brought my boy Genetics out with me and shit. And it also gives the people a different taste, So that's another one of my top favorite things to do is being able to just not only have I been able to take my art to the point where people allow me to perform it in public on stages and on these platforms, is I've been able to bring my homies with me and my friends as well. And this podcast is a representation of that. Like I know so many cool people like you and fucking Laskowski that aren't rappers that I think are fucking 10 times cooler than some of the rappers I hang out with. So why not build a fucking platform for all of us and that's the reason I love, even Mariah yelled at me when I was talking about, well, she didn't yell at me, but she was like, dude, you love the podcast. Why would you get rid of The Office? Like, you love it. I was like, you're right, I do. And yeah, that's what. So, but another, I guess another crazy thing on stage. I've been, and this don't mean anything to anybody, but there's a shot from one of the promos from the first night of tour where I got to like come out and I had a fucking water bottle in my hand. And I don't know if you've ever seen that fucking shot of somebody on stage just doing the water bottle. I get real I like that shot a lot. And I finally got a video of that and seen what I looked like doing it. And I'm like, oh, I'm fucking cool as fuck. Steve-O said something that I really like, that he's like, people ask me, am I, a stand-up? Am I an artist? Am I a stuntman? He's like, really? I'm just an attention whore. So I think, honestly, that's the category I fall into, because it's hard for me. People ask me, what am I? Am I a rapper? Am I a podcast host? Am I an actor? Am I a painter? Am I a fucking burnout? I'm all of the above.
Getting the ship in different directions.
Well, I'm also an attention whore. Johnny was going to send me the questions in advance, and I said, nah, I want them shits candid, dog. I don't want to prep no answers.
How do you, so, what's your favorite track you've made so far, and what inspired the track?
It's a good question. That's a very good question. At one point in time, I'll go in order of my favorite songs and when they were my favorite, because my favorite songs of mine usually change by the next song I record.
Yeah.
So, my first favorite song ever was Daily, the one I shot the video with Danny Filsinger. And that was like, that song came out exactly like so like when I'm making a song, I got it in my head, I imagine how it's going to sound. 9 out of 10 times it does not sound like that at the end of it. But that song was one of them. And then there was Paint. Paint was the next, which a lot of people were like, especially the type of rapper I am, I took like a lot of credit. What inspired Paint is, I say stacking money like wow, stacking money like wow, stacking money like wow, is there's a Young Thug song where he's like high like fucking Martians, whoa.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh wow, I wanted to like imitate that. So that's like a derivative of that. And I loved how it sounded, and I felt like people would like how it sounded, because it was like, I also thought people wanted to hear that style, so that's where Paint came from. After Paint, the videos are a good sense of what my favorite songs were, because I usually make a video to it, and literally, that's the best way to go. If I make a video for it, it's my favorite song. No, because Cordy Fretman got a video for it, so. Cordy Fretman, what inspired Cordy Fretman was that the name of that used to be Corey Fleming's Instagram name. He changed it to Frosty Cerveza, which I'm kind of like, yo, I named a fucking song after you, and your Instagram name, you're going to change your Instagram name? Fucking bitch. I'll see you at work tomorrow, motherfucker. But each song's a different inspiration. Daily with me and Danny was inspired because Danny would freestyle. I'd be like, yo, like, let's do some real shit. Like, your freestyle, can you write, though? So I sent him a beat. He wrote a verse. I wrote a verse. We went to my boy Mike's, recorded that shit. Came out fire. Paint, I recorded because I wanted to record a single. I wanted my own song just with me. And I was getting pissed, like, I don't know, I wasn't getting pissed, but Danny doesn't take it as serious as I do. So I wanted, if I'm going to invest all this money in these videos, I'm going to fucking do one with just me and make myself the star. Value of $1 was a competition we did to try to get. It's actually, all right, funny. The Chris Webby show I was talking about where I stage dive? Yeah. Artist Jerem Benton had me stage dive. He's like, fuck, get up here to stage dive. So fucking, that artist is the reason we made Value of $1. Because when we made Value of $1, it was a competition to win a verse from him. If we won that, we would have won a verse from him. And I never have, we obviously didn't place or anything. And I've always wanted to, like, either try to get the person who hosted the contest. He's a producer. He's the one who made the beat to Value of $1. I've always wanted to get him on and ask him what he thought of the song, if he even remembered it, if I even fucking submitted it right. Because all right, I've submitted myself for Sammy's, and I've never submitted myself correctly. So I've never even really like, not that I even would make the fucking voting brackets because I've never made it past round 2, but I don't think I've ever submitted correctly. What was the question again? Oh, what inspired what songs? Yeah, Living Legend. I can tell you what inspired that. I can tell you what inspired Vibe too. Vibe was when I was thinking of myself, dude. You know, when I write a song, I think about myself because that's what I've learned from writers. They say write what you know, and you'll never run out of shit to write, and write about yourself, and you'll always be able to write. So at the time, I was like, dude, I got this fucking beautiful girlfriend. I'm performing. I made one bullshit mixtape called Fuck Vinny, and I'm getting to perform it. My buddies are these cool ass musicians. I'm getting to hang out with Big Sexy and the Scrambled Eggs, watching this band form in front of my eyes. One of my favorite pieces of like music and shit. And it was just, I'm like, damn, dude, my life's just a fucking vibe, dude. Like I can't describe it any other way, like without trying to fucking brag. And I was just hanging out with mad hippies and shit. I'm like, dude, I'm just out here vibing, having a fucking good time.
Right into the experience.
And then, so like for instance, with my song with Ian, It's Always Now.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize the acronym for It's Always Now is Ian.
Yeah.
And the first lines in that song is like, where to start it off again. Like, because I was at the time, I'm like, man, where should I start this? Like, how should I start this song? I'm like, how don't I just start it by saying where to start this song? You know what I'm saying? So then we got Living Legends. You know, I just get off tour. The game answers one of my DMs because I fucking DM'd him like, yo, I got X amount. Let's do a feature. He answers, and I sent that shit in September. We got off April and fucking off tour in June. He messaged me. He said, yeah, I'll do the song. I was like, fuck. So I had to scramble together, get all the cash together, send him out. He's like, what do you want the concept to be? You know, he's like, what's the song going to be? And I was like, I had nothing. I had nothing in mind at all. I had no idea. I did a little beach shopping, found something that felt like I could hear me and him on there. And I'm like, all right, I know how I feel. And honestly, at that point in life, I was feeling pretty great. I just got off tour, but I was still a little down because tour was over. So I'm thinking to myself, if I was the game, how would I feel? Like this motherfucker is not only one of the dopest rappers in the game, but he's a nasty video gamer. Like he's incredibly successful in a lane I would like to drive in. And I was like, I bet you this dude just feels like he's a fucking living legend. And I wanted him to feel, I wanted him to get on the song and say some shit he would actually like fuck with. So I'm like, I'm a living fucking legend. And bada bang, that's that song. Yeah. And then like, all right, one thing that inspired me not to give up just the other day was you coming up with the idea for this episode. You know, I haven't had an idea for an episode in a few weeks, and all my guests keep canceling on me, which fucking really puts me in a little bit of a spiral at times because, like, I don't know, I value my time more than anything, so whenever I try to book time for other people. But, you know, and that's also probably my karma for fucking ignoring somebody else's time. So that's one thing I always see. But either way, you know, you won't give me the idea to do this because I also, back to my original statement of me being an attention whore, is another reason I fucking did this. Nobody's going to put me on the camera. I'm going to put my fucking self on the camera. I tried to reach out to mad podcasters when I got into podcasts, Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, shit like that, because I wanted to get on their podcast. And I was like, fuck it. How did I start working with rappers? I started rapping. How did I start hang out with musicians? I started making music. So if I want to hang out with podcasters, I should probably make a podcast. And then I was like, I always do everything to the full. I try to do everything to the fullest. That's why I had the song with the game engineered by Kendrick Lamar's engineer, and like one of the biggest engineers in the world mixed that song for me because I wanted, that's how these people got to where they were. So why not just use the tools they used? That's why. Huh? No, he's the one who mastered it. The person who did the mixing of it is mixed by Ali. He's a multi-Grammy winning, has won a bunch of Grammys, is the person behind a lot of my favorite songs. So I was like, why not have him just do it and see the outcome from that? And then, these microphones. I was like, all right, I want to be on Joe Rogan. Fuck being on Joe Rogan. Why don't I just do what Joe Rogan does? I'll go buy the microphones. I'll get a fucking interface. I've recorded before. We're literally recording audio, and then I'll add in the video. And, with a lot of trial and error, we finally made it to where we're at even this stand. And I'm still, like I said, I'm only 70% there.
Still kind of dialed in.
Yeah, it still is not fully dialed into where I'm like, I would fucking invite the president on or something. There's nobody I even look to at that stature because, like, even though I do get I'm a super huge fan of a lot of shit and I do get a little starstruck, there's nobody that I don't look at as like a fucking human being. Like, we're all just people. And I hope to be as successful as the people. I don't like to idolize anybody, but I admire. I also admire a lot of people that aren't even successful. I admire and not to say that you aren't successful, but I admire John. I admire you. I admire my buddy Richie. I admire my boy Billy, and just how everybody lives their day-to-day lives and finds their happiness. I admire that because, like, it takes a whole lot of cool shit to make me happy. And shout out to everybody who, like, thrives to make me happy because they know how much cool shit it takes to make me happy. And any other questions?
I guess this would be the last one.
I've always wanted to be interviewed too, so thank you for this.
No problem. What inspired It's Always Now, the name?
Okay, dude, and God, I fucking miss this dude. One of my great friends who I'm not sure where we lost touch fully. Like, I know the exact point in time where we stopped being as close as we were, but I don't know exactly what triggered it. I don't know if it's us partying. We used to do a lot of acid together and just really turn up. And my buddy Josh Shetterly, and I always told him, dude, if this brand ever anything's real, he gets 10% of it. And it's on recording, and I'll take that shit to my grave. My boy Josh Shetterly. One day, we were together in a room, and I was just doing my classic Vinny. I was worrying too much about the shit I'd done, too much about the shit I'm about to do, and I wasn't in the moment. And he's like, dude, there's no such thing as the past or the future. He's like, it is always now. He's like, you can think about that shit all you want. You can think about that shit all you want. But the only thing you should be thinking about is what we're doing right now. Because that's the only way this changes or this changes, Otherwise, you sit there and you dwell on this, you're staying in this. You dwell on this, you'll never reach this. I'm always wondering what we should do in a podcast instead of just coming here and fucking talking shit. Yeah. And so he said that phrase to me one day, and I was like, it's always now. I'm like, that's it, dude. I'm like, that's like, I'm like, I was really getting into like just like phrases. Like just like shirts with phrases on them, little fucking just a hat with a phrase on it. And I was like, it's always now. I'm like, I would fucking buy that. And then I counted out the letters. It was 12 letters. I envisioned the clock. I made the clock. Since then, just kept domino infecting with the it's always now thing. And I'm more, and it's to help me stay out of that past future fucking dilemma and just to be in the now. Like, I have this vision of the hat that I used to have, the It's Always Now with the It's Always Now logo, and there's like a dude on the fucking bus, and he's wearing the hat backwards, and then there's somebody sitting behind him. It's not even the person wearing the hat, it's the person who's reading the hat, sees it, and is like, it changes then, My biggest fear is somebody reading that and just fucking killing themselves. Because they're like, oh, it's now. That's the sign I was waiting for. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully they just like mow their fucking lawn and like do some laundry that they've been putting off for a few weeks. Or if, I'll take extremes too, but I'm more hoping you just go and mow your fucking lawn. Because I'm a tomorrow procrastinator. So with It's Always Now being my brand, it makes it hard to procrastinate. It does, and it's a fucking sweet phrase. I like the clock. It's sick. There's other renditions of the clock I want to make once this becomes a more popular logo. And I've always wanted, like, I look at these brands, the swoosh, the Nike. I needed that. They're so simple. A good logo is not crazy. It says what it's supposed to say, and it represents what it's supposed to represent. And like, what the fuck's the swoosh represent? Fast?
Newports.
They're going fast?
No, Newports.
I get the Newport. I think Newport was taking it from Nike. What are the 3 lines in Adidas stand for? Fucking cocaine fast? What am I rocking right now?
We're rocking Adidas.
They don't got a logo on them though.
No, I'm rocking Crocs.
Let me get another fucking logo. Give me a logo, somebody.
What do
Any
you
type of
want?
logo.
What kind of logo?
I'm just trying to think of some brand's logo. What has this? This is Swoosh. It's the Nike. Well, all right, this is a better example. At least the Nike on this one says fucking Nike.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah,
know.
but you don't need to. Yeah, but what you gotta realize is they've made their brand so well that you don't even need to have it be Nike anymore to have this.
No, I get that. But then you got like, I'm just trying to think of like Burn Dairy. What's their logo? A cow? A little
No.
cow? Yeah, it's the
Burn-
cow.
No, Burn Dairy.
Pull up the Burn Dairy logo real quick. Or it's just the word fucking Burn Dairy.
Just the word Burn Dairy.
Yeah.
Truly, I think
They
it's.
changed it 'cause it used to be. I did
Wasn't there a cow logo at one point in time?
think so.
I'm trying to think of a better fucking example.
Yeah, so right now.
McDonald's, dude. McDonald's, the Golden Arches is a gold
now
M.
this.
But it used to, at one point there was a cow
There's
in the
this.
mix, wasn't it? The little cow in the moon. That's my point though, dude. We've really gotten bland these days, but the little cow in the moon used to be and that makes sense. It's Burn Dairy, but it's the simplicity of the imagery too. I wanted something that would look good on a business card, something that would look good in the little fucking bottom corner right there, you know? Just fucking, where are we? Right here, just fucking looking good. Let me clean it off. Bam, you know? But, so yeah, Josh Shetterly is the inspiration behind the phrase "It's Always Now." The desire to not procrastinate is the reason I stuck with it. And then how much Ian has done for me in the past is one of the reasons I love it so much. And the reason he was on the song "It's Always Now." And then, yeah, I think that was a fun episode. So thank you. Because we almost went a fucking full month, it felt like, which would have made this fucking office completely useless this month, and we got to utilize it for tax reasons, I guess. I don't know. So that's another thing I got to actually, I got to do a lot of business shit for It's Always Now because I've been doing a lot of image shit for it and not enough business shit for it. I got to set up the banks. I got to set up the fucking... Today, this is going to be my first year doing taxes with an LLC and all that shit, so...
You are LLC.
Yeah. It's Always Now has been an LLC for a year now, so... Well, yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thank you, Zach, for your questions. Thank you, John, for your clicks.